Hola, my friends. I hope you're all well and that you had a wonderful weekend. So, as Nick mentioned this morning, this week on Instagram, we are speaking about how to deal with difficult people. So, who am I referring to when, I say difficult people? Well, who I'm referring to are the difficult people in your life, right? Anyone who you consider difficult to get along with, difficult to understand, difficult to communicate with. And why does it even matter to speak about these kinds of relationships, right? Well, we usually consider certain people to be difficult within our lives because our interactions with them are sticky in some way. They're complicated, they're not clear, and typically they end up being hurtful, right? So you end up feeling hurt, you end up experiencing pain. And what ends up happening as a result is that there's a ripple effect on other areas of your life, right? So, for example, if one of the difficult people in your life, you end up arguing with them often, then, that's going to drain your energy. And then you're going to end up having less energy for your creativity and your work or for the other relationships that matter to you. If, another difficult person in your life, your sort of resolution, your way of coping is just like to go passive and just be like, yeah, do whatever you want, like, because I can't take this shit, then you're going to end up finding yourself in situations that you never signed up for. You're going to end up sort of being in situations that you're like, how the hell did I get here? Because that person will just take you wherever they want to take you. So it's really important that you take a pause and, identify which relationships you find difficult and evaluate, kind of how to navigate these relationships so that you don't end up in these sticky situations over and over again. So here are 3 tips for dealing with the difficult people in your life. So my first tip is to ask instead of attack. Right? So this can be difficult when you're in the heat of the moment, because when you're in the heat of the moment and you feel hurt by someone, our instant reaction is to hurt back, right? It's to defend ourselves in some way. And we could choose different ways to do this. We could go passive aggressive, where we kind of hurt somebody, but we don't actually own how we feel and express how we feel. So something like, oh, I would never have, expected you to realize because, you're so kind of, busy with your own stuff, where you're kind of indicating that you're hurt, but you're not actually owning it and saying it. Then, another option is to go aggressive, where you basically just, blow your lid and kind of say like, well, F you, and, kind of, you're such an asshole or whatever. You just let it all go, right? And, we're all human. And this happens sometimes. So what's important is that we try to avoid it, or when it does happen, calm yourself down, own it, come back, repair it. But, what I've found much more helpful in my relationships, and when I do this, like, it's way, way, way more helpful, is to ask instead of attack, right? So instead of going passive aggressive or aggressive aggressive, I find it way more helpful to just ask a question, to become curious, right? To sort of, instead of blaming and telling the person, you did this to me, or you meant this when you said this, like, it's to go like, when you said that to me, I'm really curious to understand, what you meant by it. Or I'm really curious to understand, when you take this kind of action, when you perform this kind of behavior, what are you trying to communicate to me? Or what kind of message do you think I'm receiving? And in this way, you ask the question to them. So you are giving them the opportunity to reflect on their behavior. And they might end up realizing, oh shit, I'm doing something hurtful. Whereas before, maybe they didn't even realize it. Because even though to us, it might be obvious that what they're doing is hurtful, some people just, they don't realize it, they don't get it. And sometimes we are that person. Sometimes we are the person hurting somebody else and not realizing and not getting it, right? So you give them the opportunity to reflect. My second tip is to stay open to their response, right? So this is when you have a real challenge, right? Your challenge is to put your ego defenses aside, that part of you that wants to, boom, barricade yourself and be like, you're bad and I'm right. It's that, self-justified part of us. Your job is to breathe and to put that part of yourself aside and really listen and take in what the other person is telling you. So really stay with genuine curiosity and compassion. And also pay attention to what they're telling you, right? Because you want to be compassionate and at the same time you don't want to be stupid, right? There are some people out there who genuinely do not care about your well-being. So you want to tune in, and some people are very good talkers, they're very sweet talkers, they're very good at manipulating the situation to suit themselves. So you want to really stay open and listen and stay compassionate, and at the same time pay attention to what they're saying, and not just the content of what they're saying, but tune in with their emotional state. Does the content of what they're saying match what they are expressing emotionally? So look at their body language, pay attention to their tone of voice. Does it match? Is this real? Is this person speaking genuinely, or are they fibbing? Are they just saying what, they think they want you to hear, or are they just lying, and if you find them lying, you can challenge them on it. You can say, listen, you're saying this, but your physical movements are showing something else. For example, if a person is saying, I understand you, but, they're rolling their eyes at the same time, the roll of the eyes is showing, no, they don't. You can pay attention to micro expressions on a person's face. So I'm not going to go into detail about micro expressions. If you would like me to go into detail about micro expressions one day, just let me know, ask us for that, and we'll dedicate a week to it. But you can also look up micro expressions on YouTube and stuff like that. And there's like a whole vast array of research that's really important. So you want to get curious and also pay attention, stay present to what is really going on between you and this other person. Now, with the information that you receive from that interaction with the other person, my third tip is to use that information to make a choice about whether to continue to invest in the relationship or whether to create boundaries with that person. So there are some people who you can express your hurt to, and they will own responsibility for it. They'll say, oh shit, I see what I did and I won't do it again, and they'll want to understand how they hurt you, or they'll want to make it better or whatever. And you can really come to an understanding between you and you build trust. These are the people you want to continue investing your energy in, because these are the kind of people you can build a genuine relationship with, right? And that's what you want in your life. You want as many genuine, honest, trusting relationships as you can possibly have. There are other people who will not be able to be compassionate with you. They will make out like you're making a fuss. They will put all the blame on you, and they will just justify their behavior. Now, I'm not telling you that a boundary is all in or all out. In some cases, a boundary does need to be to end the relationship completely. You will need to process that relationship in order to get to that decision, or maybe you'll just know in your gut, okay, I need to get out of this relationship. But there are other kinds of boundaries as well. Like, for example, you might have a boundary, because that person might be a part of your family. So you might say, okay, I love this person. At the same time, this person is, they tend to be so self-absorbed that they're not that capable of seeing things from my perspective, and they're not that interested, So even though I love them and I choose to interact with them, sometimes I'm going to lessen the frequency. So instead of every week, I do once a month, for example. Another kind of boundary is, you choose not to disclose personal information with a person and you stay on superficial topics, or you choose to speak about certain topics but not others. you protect your heart in some way from the pain that this person continuously exposes you to. You use the information that they give you to make a decision about how far you're going to let them mess with you, right? Because you have that responsibility to yourself and to your family. You don't want to keep putting yourself in, messy, sticky, awful situations. If there's a person who does not respect you, you need to create a boundary. And, maybe they'll even end up realizing through that boundary and they'll want to make things better, but some people won't. So just stay aware. So guys, if you are having difficulty navigating certain sticky relationships in your life and you want to free yourself from this difficulty, you want to figure out how to navigate these relationships better so that you can experience less pain and more freedom and more joy, and really focus on the people who are important to you and really maybe make certain relationships better, lifestyle strategy sessions can help you do this. So DM me for info about sessions and I will answer all of your questions. I'm sending you lots of love and thank you again for tuning in and for your trust. We will speak soon. Peace.